Hello YouTubers, this is Herm Says Play to Win, back with another War Thunder Ground Forces video, so this time in the IS-1, and this is during a special simulator battle event. So what's special about this event is that all minimap markers have been removed, and that includes friendlies. And so essentially, in order to acquire targets, you need to rely on your Mark 1 eyeball. And so this is a special event that has been ongoing for 3 days now. I just have not had time to play this for myself until today. And so far, I actually really like this. So as you can see here, I'm engaging a target, actually a couple of tigers out in the distance, but there are no minimap markers. So the thing about minimap markers is that it would give away a tank's position, even through lots of foliage cover, tree cover, even though most of a vehicle might be hidden behind a terrain feature. As long as a little bit of the vehicle had a line of sight, then the vehicle would pop up as a marker on the minimap, which really negated the value of, for example, flanking tactics, because, for example, if you're driving something like a T-34 that has good mobility but a mediocre gun, then oftentimes what you would want to do if you're engaging a target that is heavily armored, like for example a German Tiger, the ideal tactic would be to use your mobility and try to sneak up on the Tiger's rear or side. However, with the previous implementation of minimap markers, as soon as you showed up on his minimap and he was paying attention to it, then he could turn his tank to face you, and all the trouble you went through to drive across the map via some back road path towards the enemy would all be for naught, because you would instantly pop up on the minimap and he would know where you are. So anyway, so here I am going back to defend our zone, and so I've taken out one of the tigers because I've managed to get up behind him, and so essentially that guy didn't know what hit him. So I know there's another tiger out there somewhere. So I'm waiting for him to actually start capping our zone, so that way I know exactly where to look for him. And I'm being careful not to break cover unnecessarily, because there are enemy aircraft overhead as well, like that Stuka right there. Okay, so I caught sight of this other tiger via the commander's view, and so I've switched to gunner's view, shot him in the back of the turret with APCR, and I'm not sure why this tiger did not move. Maybe he was repairing. Since I have the back of his tank, I've decided to switch to normal armor-piercing rounds, because they have explosive filler, and so if they do penetrate, they will tend to do more damage than APCR. So took out the second tiger, saved our cap zone. So again, you want to be very careful whenever you're thinking about breaking cover in this mode, because this is a mixed mode, so there are enemy aircraft about. So if you're sitting out in the open, obviously you're going to be much easier to spot from the air than if you're in tree cover. And so I am moving forward, and I tell my team I'm going to recap the zone. So at this point I need to go for it. Just having a quick look around before I go recapture our zone. Just to make sure there are no enemies here. Roll forward, notice something moving, and that's a friendly SU. So both of the capture zones on this map are just wide open clearings, so while we're recapturing the zone we have no choice but to sit out in the open. Now unfortunately the IS-1 does not have any working machine guns as yet, and so if I want to engage aircraft I have no choice but to shoot the 85mm at them. And so here comes that Stuka. Now the fortunate thing for us is that if he was carrying bombs or rockets, he is apparently Winchester, so he's resorting to using his guns to shoot us. And I can't quite bring the gun up high enough to aim at this guy. And shoot him and miss. He strafes the SU again. Now if I had some functioning machine guns I can just spray some machine gun fire at him and hope to clip his wing or something to damage him, but shooting 85mm rounds at an aircraft, even a slow moving aircraft, does require an element of luck. So at this point I'm not sure why the Stuka crashed. I mean, I guess maybe he ran out of ammo and made a suicide run as DSU. Okay, so something shot at us, but turns out it's a friendly T-34. So in this mode, because there are no minimap markers, it is absolutely vital to visually identify anything you're contemplating shooting at. Because if you don't do that, it is all too easy to have a blue on blue situation. Okay, so our cap is secure. We have one aircraft at this point and 3 ground vehicles. And the enemy team at this point are down to, I believe, 2 ground vehicles. And we are ahead in score, so essentially all we need to do is to... Oh, I'm sorry, not 2 ground vehicles, I think. Oh, okay, I think it's 3 ground vehicles, 1 aircraft at the moment. Okay, so I think that's an enemy aircraft. But the important thing is that our team is ahead in score, and so for the enemy to have a chance to win, either he has to come attack us, or if our team does something stupid and we lose all our vehicles, then yeah, the enemy team would win by default. So at this point, all of the friendly ground vehicles have moved into this forested patch here in order to take advantage of the cover. And the other thing I like about this match setup, this event mode here, is that people tend to cooperate and coordinate tactics more. And I think that's because in order to spot any targets to shoot at, you have to use your eyes. And so obviously working together and having 3 sets of eyes scoping out the terrain is going to be much better than just lone wolfing it and just having your own set of eyes to watch for the enemies. And so we decide to hang out here, hopefully set up an ambush for the enemy. So I'm watching the northern sector. So the T-34 is watching toward the northeast, and he spotted a target. It's just an enemy AAA vehicle, so this should be an easy kill. And this AAA, this player doesn't seem to be used to ground forces because his return fire was nowhere near the right distance. As the friendly SU gets taken out by an enemy TD. Now, because there are no map markers, we really don't know where the shot came from. So I'm looking around, and I don't see anything up there. And of course that's because that's not where the enemy was shooting from, so the enemy is to our left. Now he takes out the T-34-85. The lucky thing is I've spotted him, and he either had not spotted me or he was reloading, but the first shot did some critical damage to him. Second shot takes out his transmission, so now he's pinned in place. And the third shot takes him out, so I'm up to 3 kills. And the enemy is now down to 1 ground vehicle, 1 aircraft. So the T-34 is going to just make his way back. So, yeah, I really like what they've done here by removing the minimap markers. It makes this mode so much more realistic. It makes it so much more dependent on tactics and on skill. I mean, previously, basically, your eyes were glued to the minimap, and if a contact popped up on the minimap, then you would immediately start to bring your gun to bear to look for him. So, I'm being shot at by the Panzer IV here, which I cannot see through all these trees. Now, the friendly T-34, who's just respawned, he's telling me that the Panzer IV is right on the road. So I just need to move east in order to find him. Now, what I don't like about this mode is they left the hit camera on, and obviously that's a very, very unrealistic feature, to see exactly where your shots are impacting the enemy. And it's especially bad for simulator, because you can adjust your aim based on what you see in the hit cam. So I think it really needs to go. As I get to the rear of this Panzer IV, which is pretty much doomed, and I fire an AP shell into the back of his vehicle and destroy him. So I'm up to 4 kills now. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So for the remainder of this match, there is one enemy player in an aircraft right there. Or actually right there. He's the guy doing the shooting, chasing our IL-2. So yeah, the enemy FW-190A actually packs a 500 kilogram bomb. So yeah, the rest of this match was just our ground vehicle staying in tree cover, working our way to the enemy cap zone. So yeah, I think I'll go ahead and cut it right here. I just want to say that with this event, this has been very popular with the simulator players, and I really hope that Gaijin will implement this as the permanent default mode for Ground Forces Simulator. And even if they don't, I hope that they will run similar events frequently in the future, because I think this change to the game mechanics really brings this simulator battle mode into its own, and I hope we will see much more of it in the future. Okay, so if you've watched to this point, thank you very much for watching. I will see you on the next one.